Aaron Donald has had the most sacks in the NFL since 2014. Do you know who's second on that list?
Is it Von Miller?
It is not.
Right, T.J. Watt.
It is not.
What?
Micah Parsons.
It is not. Good try.
Micah Parsons.
It is not. I'll give you a couple more guesses
The
here.
audacity. Myles Garrett.
It is not.
Jadeveon Clowney.
It is not.
Randy Gregory.
You want one more time?
Chandler Jones.
Correct.
He was my next guest.
Chandler Jones, who's joining us in 1 hour from now. Set your timepieces, people. Chandler Jones, in week 1, came out of the box with 3 sacks in the first quarter. In the history of the National Football League, nobody has ever come up with 3 sacks in the first quarter of the first game of the season for his team. Never. Chandler Jones, also in that game, had a couple of forced fumbles and 2 more sacks. 5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. Only player in the last 20 years with multiple games in the 20-year period with 4 more sacks or 2 more forced fumbles in a game. Do you know who that person is?
Lawrence Taylor.
Chandler Jones.
Oh, jeez. Wow.
Only 7 human beings have reached 100 sacks in fewer than 125 games, as Chandler Jones did this year. He did 100 sacks in 125 games. Only 7 human beings have done it faster.
Oof.
Reggie White, Bruce Smith, Lawrence Taylor, because I wrote LT here, DeMarcus Ware, Von Miller, J.J. Watt, Jared Allen. 3 are in the hall. You can make the great case the other 4 are going, including DeMarcus this year.
Yeah, I think that's a safe bet.
Is Chandler Jones a Hall of Famer? Chandler Jones right now has 105.5 career sacks, which puts him in the top 30 all time. And that's 17 or 16 and a half sacks behind Simeon Rice, number 20th all time. Chandler Jones a Hall of Famer? Because Chandler Jones is not old. He is not an old man. He is 31 years old.
How much longer can he do it?
If he plays another 2-3 years, he sure looks like he can.
I want to see him climb those sacks list a little bit.
I'm sorry, Rich. How many does he have right now?
The fact that he's a former Patriot and a Syracuse player, the fact that he isn't already kinging him, that shows that's that weird. He's being a professional over there. So
how many sacks did he have? I missed that number. It was
105 and a half.
105 and a half. Okay, so I mean,
I think, and it's weird. I think the correlation with the way we look at quarterbacks now and how all the passing stats are a little inflated, I think we have to look at the same way with the sack statistics. With more passes each game, there's more opportunities to get sacks. So I want the number to be a little bit higher before I start looking at some of these pass rushers and think like, oh, he got to 100? That means he's in the Hall of Fame.
He's tied with Elvis Dumervil. He's a half sack behind one of the most powerful agents, by the way, in college football.
Trace Armstrong.
Correct. He's 2 behind Pat Swilling.
Yeah, see what I'm saying?
No, I know, and these are names that aren't like. You talk to Sapp, and he'll tell you Simeon Rice's bust deserves to be in that room.
Yeah, Sapp is a big Simeon.
And then when you're in the top 20, you're now at Simeon Rice, Robert Mathis, Dwight Freeney.
Right. I want him to get into that list.
Well, he's heading there.
Yeah, I mean, he's only 17 away from number 20.
I know, but I understand.
And this is the thing about sacks. You got John Abraham and Leslie O'Neal in there. They're not in the Hall.
And probably won't.
But
be.
everyone who's in the top 10, the only ones who are not in the Hall is DeMarcus Ware and then T. Sizzle. And I think you can say they're going there.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm. I also, big for me, I want to see him do it in the postseason. I want a postseason.
Well, you're going to get a chance to see it this year if he's healthy.
I want a moment from Chandler Jones in the postseason, if not in the Super Bowl.
But he's on track, isn't he?
He's on a good pace.
100 sacks in 125 or fewer games. Only 7 have done it faster, and those are some pretty huge names.
Yeah, bummer. The Pats had to let him go. Just wasn't going to pay him, which I totally understand. It's just not their way, but. Would have loved to see him do all this in New England.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.